The next few days, the clan cats fell into a routine. In the morning, Stoneteller would call the warriors to the alcove, where they would talk out of earshot of the three apprentices. These times were often filled with boredom, the young cats watching their clanmates from a distance. S.o.W tried to sneak over and listen in once, but she was quickly spotted and reprimanded by S.o.W. From then on, a guard was always stationed in front of the alcove. It was probably for the best, as the other tribe cats were also growing restless, waiting for the healer or the clan cats to come up with a solution. When S.o.W was available, Riverpaw, Stonepaw, and Echopaw were allowed to go out hunting or exploring the territory. The rest of the clan group would accompany tribe cats on scouting missions. At night, everyone would return to the cave, tired and aching, and almost always with a tinge of hunger in their stomachs. Riverpaw's routine differed slightly from the others, as she had also made it her duty to avoid her brother. She didn't know why, but whenever she saw the Tom, no matter how friendly he appeared or how readily he agreed to go out hunting again, there was always a nagging at the back of the she-cat's mind that his smile was fake. He was hiding something. She knew it. But she couldn't confront him. So she took the awkward glances and retreating to Stonepaw and Echopaw. Cloud would, likewise, retreat to Hannah or one of his tribe friends, and so the siblings drifted. All the while, the tension seemed to be building in the tribe and between the clan cats. With no great ideas or time to learn more about the enemy, Riverpaw heard them talk of a plan, one that, although unlikely to succeed, would at least be doing something. The she-cat didn't know the details, but from her mentor's increasing wary expression, she could tell it was something desperate. "We need a breakthrough," the brown apprentice thought as she sat in her nest, refusing to close her eyes. Of all the tense and dark things going on in the tribe, sleeping had become her most hated event. She knew that the moment she closed her eyes, the mist would rise, or her mother's pelt would appear, or she would hear those words again. She still couldn't fend off sleep forever. Eventually, her eyelids closed, and she was drifting into the black void. In her dreams this time, green eyes were staring at the she-cat from every angle. There was a pair to her left, large and innocent, with fear glowing in their depths. Riverpaw looked away in terror, but another pair floated in front of her. These were older, wiser, yet shone with that same fear. Riverpaw shook her head and tried to turn away again, but now there was another pair. These were strange and burning, like an emerald fire. Riverpaw backed away, but that only brought all three into focus. I'm sorry, she found herself shouting at them. I don't know how." Finally, she closed her eyes, unable to take their burning green gazes, and crouched low, burying her head in her paws. In this dream, she could still hear the sound of their staring and feel those eyes growing nearer. "I can't. I'm sorry," she whimpered and woke up. A paw prodded Riverpaw's side, and Stonepaw's voice came floating to her, high with alarm. Riverpaw, wake up!" The brown cat looked at her friend through blurry vision. His deep blue eyes were large and worried, but Riverpaw found herself relaxing as she looked into them. "Are you okay?" the Tom mewed hesitantly. "Yeah," the apprentice meowed, still waking up. She touched her face with a paw and found her fur wet. Crying again, she thought with frustration. "I'm fine, Stonepaw. This happens all the time. Don't worry." The Tom stared at her with increasing concern, and Riverpaw kicked herself for telling him that. Without a word, she yawned and shook her head rapidly, clearing away her drowsiness. Stretching, she tried to sound nonchalant. "So, what are we doing today? Any news about the wolves?" "No," Stonepaw replied, obviously still worrying about her. He looked away as he continued. "S.o.W did tell us we'd be going on patrol today, though. Border patrol. This one's a little different, since it seems like everyone is taking part." Riverpaw nodded in understanding. Looking around the cave, Echo-Paw had already gotten up and was chatting with a few young tribe cats near the center of the cave. The she-cat had grown close to them over the last days. RiverPaw saw the cats laugh, and not for the first time, felt a hint of jealousy for her friend's outgoing nature. Looking away, she saw the other clan cats, including her mentor, sitting with Stoneteller in the alcove across the cave. Their voices were muted, but the she-cat could tell from their perplexed expressions that they were still at a loss in the wolf situation. Stonepaw spoke up again, sounding a bit awkward. "Do you want to go join the patrol now, or... There won't be any fresh kill till later. We can hunt while we're out." RiverPaw looked over at the entrance again, finding the cats were already gathering. Her brother was nowhere to be seen. Stoneteller was waving the warriors away from the alcove. Ashheart glanced over at RiverPaw. "Yeah, let's go," RiverPaw mewed absently, and followed her friend toward the cave entrance, where the rest of the clan had gathered. Ashheart sat down next to RiverPaw, but she didn't look at him. Gazing around, the brown apprentice didn't recognize any of the tribe cats until Lily appeared at the front of the gathering. The black-furred cat took a seat before them. "All right, everyone," she meowed. "This activity is slightly different. As I'm sure you've heard, today we will be making a thorough scouting of our territory. Your job is to track any trace of the wolves throughout our borders and make a clear mental map of everywhere they have been. This is the final stage in our planning. After this, Stoneteller, Lightning, the clan cats, and I have a few plans that we will refine and put into motion within the next few days. We need every cat's help for this to succeed. Stoneteller is alone in the Cave of Pointed Stones, looking for any messages from our ancestors as we speak. May the tribe of endless hunting give us strength." Cheers rang out from the crowd, and RiverPaw noticed that, despite the flickers of fear and tension within the assembled cats, all eyes were focused and determined. Lily stepped aside and Lightning took her place. "We're splitting into 2 groups. Each group will have 5 clan cats and 6 tribe cats," the tom boomed, and immediately the cats began to separate. RiverPaw was placed in a group with Ashheart, Lily, Duskfall, and of course Stonepaw and Echopaw. 5 additional tribe cats joined as well, and Lily identified them as Leaf that flies down mountain, Flake that falls from sky, Moon that hides behind clouds, Silver cloud that streaks sky, and one RiverPaw recognized as Gray feather of a small bird. The cats nodded to each other. RiverPaw looked past them to the other group and saw that Cloud and Hannah had indeed joined. She felt a flash of guilt over her relief that they were not in her group. One party will head to the north, the other to the south, and both will circle around the territory until... Lightning abruptly stopped mid-sentence, staring at the cave entrance in surprise. Murmurs of confusion resounded through the cave, and RiverPaw craned her neck to see what was causing the commotion. Following Lightning's gaze, a shock ran through her, and she understood. An unfamiliar figure stood silhouetted against the waterfall. Its fur was wild, and its shoulders broad. It glared down at the cats for a moment in silence, then turned and walked along the path out of the cave. RiverPaw looked to Stonepaw and Echopaw, who stared back at her with equally astonished expressions. The frozen cats were startled out of their confusion by a call of alarm outside. RiverPaw felt a jolt. If that strange cat had been standing there, then what had happened to the cave guards outside? Everyone seemed to share this thought, for in the next instant they were all heading for the entrance. RiverPaw pushed her way through the crowd, attempting to get a better view of what had happened. "RiverPaw, stay back," Ashheart hissed, but she pretended not to hear. Something was bothering her. That figure. Its wild fur. It seemed familiar to her somehow. She needed to see it again.